Okay, so I started channeling through some stuff, but he was saying it's coming from my own higher self, not from him. And then it was like a joke in my head of, we'll wait for you to finish the rant. I stopped. Oh my God, Bobby. Okay, let's start again. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobby Richardson, and I will be your guide for today. So today we are going to bring through Nova. He is a new guide. It was only a few days ago that he said that he wanted to be called Nova, and he agreed to that. And it was really interesting because I actually looked up Nova and it came up with supernova, and supernova was actually happening this half of the year, and it hasn't happened for a very, very long time. So we're actually going to see this new guest star, and this is the article that I actually found out. The new guest star is going to appear in the night sky. And here I am getting this new guide that's holding out his hand and saying, he's like coming in as a new guest star on my show. It's so interesting how this all coincidentally happens. I love it. And I love how they piece it together. And the supernova is actually going to burst in the Corona Borealis constellations. So you can look that up in the night sky. It's above Arcturus, is below it, and then there's like the Boots constellation, and then there's this little curve of a constellation that's called the Corona Borealis constellation. So that's where that's going to appear. And I do believe, I haven't been told by him, but I have this feeling that this is all not, these amazing coincidences is for reason. So if I'm going to see a reason in this, it would be because he comes from that space in the sky. So that's really interesting too. We're going to bring him through and see what happens. I'm saying he's a he, because that's just how I feel. But he kind of feels like an it. And it's just easier to say that, more than anything. Not biased on any feminine or masculine or anything like that. Just feels right. So I'll say he. Because our language is not conducive to everything that's out there in the universe. Our language is only conducive to what's here on Mother Earth, and humanity's consciousness. But there's so much more that could be added. And they are all telepathic anyway, so they have this feeling, and that's how I'm doing. I'm feeling it, and I can only explain that. He is quite jovial and patient. Will listen to me rant on, thinking that I'm getting a message from him when really it's my higher self. Then he's like, we're just waiting for you to stop so that you can see it's actually from your higher self, and nothing wrong with that. He's like, nothing wrong with that. Rant on, that's your spiel. So go for it. But there is another energy that's him that's coming through. Now, he did contact me throughout the night and gave me some messages. I did ask for it, and then I try to go to sleep, just about fall asleep, and all these messages come in because I'm in the alpha state. So much easier for him to discuss things with me then. And then all of a sudden I have to like wake myself up and write them all out on my phone again. So I've got quite a few messages, right? Anyway, we will go through a couple of these as well and see if there's anything else that he wants to add in. First of all, he says Nova's message about Nova. There are those that will say we don't exist, and maybe we do, and maybe we don't. But wouldn't you rather delight in the unknown rather than wallow in a life of pessimism and limitations? Be so fearless that you step into expansion. So that was really interesting because, of course, when, something very unusual like channeling through another ET from another planet and all of that is confronted to humanity, they're easily going to go, dismiss that. That person's a little nuts, whatever. But you know what? We've tried it the way of the limited consciousness where everything is just so, everything outside of us is the only thing that we listen to. And we, so long as it's written down in a piece of paper and it's made sense through science and all of that sort of stuff. Then it can only be accepted, where the universe is a vast cosmos of potential and many, 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 many different life forms exist in this potential. So why not just expand ourselves, especially at this moment, through humanity's consciousness, opening up to such a brilliant new way of being, right? And living on this world. It's so exciting. They're so excited to see what's going to come next. The alignment, if they had the capability to align with us and visit with us in these higher love frequencies of recognizing that everyone is reflected from a point of view of love. They are so excited that that could be a possibility of actually coming here and, putting out their hand, not only telepathically to me in a dream, but also to you guys and other people in physical form. But it has to match the vibrational meat of understanding that they are on and in their reality. They don't have the fear, they don't have the lack of that we have, because we've had this imbalance where the fear is held within the logical mind and it's been overtaking over everything. And so then it's like the masculine has to overtake everything, and it's in fear as well, because it's not in a natural balance of self aligned with the soul and the imagination. It's not aligned with the intuition. It's not aligned with the vast cosmos out there. It's like seeking through the dark, trying to fixate on things to say that's the only real thing in this reality. Is it solid? Yeah, it's real, because that's what the logical mind is supposed to do. It's supposed to create this separated solid world. But before the solid world was here was an infinite of possibilities, and it's our observational point of view that we hone in on a specific reality that's been created through many avatars, many souls coming into many bodies, creating this beautiful separated world, that this even exists. But it has to come from the alignment of energy going on a journey, love going on a journey. That energy can only come from love, because that's where it started from. Source energy, God itself, prime creator, universal, whatever you want to call it, is love. That's all it is. Yeah, so let's get into some of these messages here. Says, we are so powerful that we will find everything we focus on. Okay, he's telling me that was actually my higher consciousness that said that one, which I love that one, so we're going to bring it up anyway. It's so interesting when I've got him in my head, the clarity that comes in with it. Another thing, love is a state of being. This is one that he did put in my head. Love is a state of being. It's not an act of doing, although the act of doing can contain love. But the truth of real love comes from within. It's when you live with such an awe of life, where you are connected with everything and everyone through the wisdom of knowing that all belongs when it moves through the vibration of love. It doesn't discriminate right from wrong, death from birth. It is the cycle that forever moves with delight of the experience. Love is creation and consumption, as both is needed as one gives space for the other to exist. You exist, therefore you are loved. As the experience you are having is birthed from love. And when you leave this plane of existence, you are loved for choosing another journey. So love is everything. It is the acceptance of everything. And when we start to come from an acceptance of everything, okay, that's the way it is at the moment, because that's what's been brought into my how I'm facing off my reality of who I truly feel I am at this point. What do I want to choose to shift? Well, I have to accept that first and then go, okay, now I can take responsibility for my inner world that's created the outer world. And then I can shift the inner world to move it in a certain degree, different perspective to another reality. And it changes everything because your focus has shifted itself. It's so profound that the fear never really existed in the first place, but it is an outside force that's teaching us where we are already not happy within us. We're already there. It's just a mere reflection of what already exists within us. Oh my God, I'm so scared to start that business. If I start that business, what's going to happen? Oh my God, I don't know. This is the logical mind talking, because it can't create, it can't understand the future. So it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen if I start that new business? If I tried it in the past, it's never really worked. That sort of thing, because you were trying from fear. But when you release that, and you start with, it's so when you release that and you start and you realize that, sorry, he's coming in and going, this is your higher self again. It's so interesting how he's teaching me what's my higher self and what's not my higher self. So I just try to be as honest as I possibly can through this, because I didn't realize it before, which is a good thing to know about. But yeah, so, but it is interesting to know that when you actually step out of that fear game that you have been playing, right, which is only a mere reflection, then you can actually shift your reality from within yourself, so that the only thing that exists outside of you is everything that you're aligning with for your benefit, Okay. So interesting that he's pulling me away from. It's not that he's saying, it's not that he wants to pull me away from my higher self. He just wants me to gain an awareness of what my higher self, when my higher self comes in and when it's him speaking. Because he's like, he put out his hand, do you want me to help you, guide you through this? And of course, I've taken his hand and we're using him. That sounds terrible. We've invited him in to be, the channeler. And he's like, okay, well, now if you want to see who's me and who's your higher self, this is part of the lesson. So I will take you on that lesson with me, because I think that's important for when you guys start to also create, start to channel as well, and create businesses that might, have you channeling live and so forth. And we need as many as we possibly can, because the more that we have, the more that people start to accept this as a norm. And there's so much wisdom to be had from these connections as well. Okay, let's get into another message that he was bringing across. Is there anything else that you want to say on the other message, though, with the love thing? Did I say this? Take a chance on unconditional love, as love is only truly unconditional. The only reason it hurts you is because you've tried to control the unconditional. I love that one. Take a chance on unconditional love, as love is only truly unconditional. The only reason it hurts you is because you've tried to control the unconditional. The love already exists anyway. Love is unconditional. So when you try to control something that is unconditional, you've already dismantled love and gone into fear. See, here we are with my higher self again, that logical mind. See, I start to talk with him, and he doesn't mind this as well, but when that logical mind starts to try to find love without connection to our intuition, it will seek it outside itself and try to control it because it doesn't trust. It doesn't trust itself without the connection to to the intuition, which was always to the soul. When you can trust yourself, you can trust the choices you make, including who you let into your life. So this is a lot to do with us and learning to trust ourselves. This is another story that he gave me about humanity's safety blankets. Safety blankets to him is like procrastination, comfort, don't want to move, too scared to move, too scared to go forward in life, try something different, that sort of thing. This is how he put it, and I love how he put it. A blanket can protect you and keep you warm on a cold night, but if you use it to play in, you can hide underneath it with anticipation for what's coming next. Wait with patience and anticipation for the world to surprise you with more fun, because life is supposed to be full of surprises. And it's only within your anticipation that the surprises are gifted. And he gave me an example. If you have a little kid, like a little 3-year-old, and then they play in their blanket and say the parents like, oh, I've got to go do this work. I've got to go do, the dishes or the housework or something like that, in the same room. And the little kid runs over to the blanket and hides underneath it. And he's like giggling his little heart out, going, giggling like that. The adult will automatically go, oh, I have to surprise him, because the anticipation of this kid is so beautiful and so wanting of that surprise that the parent will have to go over and go, boo, or surprised, lift the blanket up, I love you, that sort of thing, we have to recognize what we're actually doing in this world is actually coming back to us when we feel the anticipation of something beautiful coming towards us. When we lift ourselves off that, when we say, okay, I'm using this protective blanket, this comfort zone, this to anticipate the next move, to say to the universe, oh my God, it's so exciting, what's coming next? The universe is automatically going to be like that adult. It's just automatic. It just wants to fuel that excitement and within you. It wants to fuel it because you have created a space to fuel something beautiful next, just through anticipation. I love that. It's such a good way of putting things. Thank you very much, Nova, for that. Okay, so let's see what else comes through from Nova. Yeah, so there's this, he has this jovial kind of a sense about it. It's mature. It's like, but real jovial of not taking life so seriously, enjoying yourself, going out to the world, going out into this world as a young child playing in a beautiful playground. See it as a beautiful playground again. Even if it's in moments throughout the day, practice playing in this world. practice it. Practice seeing through the eyes of an innocent child that's delighting everything. Practice this because it is so important for this next step. As we move into higher frequencies, we become that more. And so if we start to play in it a little bit during the day to day, we become more of it in the future. And that is these higher frequencies and how people in this in other dimensions and other planets or wherever you want to call it, within humanity's consciousness, it's in the higher frequencies. That's what they do. They're like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? The reason why old people who have smoked and done all those horrible things to their bodies and stuff like that, the reason why they actually live longer is because they are excited about the next day. They're always in anticipation about. That's what the soul spark within our cells starts to feel and enlighten each cell, creating or bringing in alignment of the natural order of where each cell is supposed to be, so that it keeps creating healthy bodies. Is there anything else that wants to come through? They do recognize, they do see how much the program or the nature of the beast has pulled us into a worrisome world. They understand it, but they can also see that when you don't align to it, it is missed. It doesn't even, it's not even, they don't even see it. They don't notice it. The beast doesn't notice it. When you are aligned to the higher frequencies for yourself, the beast doesn't notice it because you're up and you're up your value into a higher frequency. It reminds me of when I was attacked by something a lower frequency. I ended up seeing my chakras fall into one chakra and a big burst of light come out of me, and I raised my vibration out of the vibration of that was lower, because I'd already, through my own willpower, said, no, this isn't how the story goes. Through my own willpower, said, I'm getting out of this, but I don't know how. That in itself creates the reality, even if it seems like magic. It stops everything from happening to you because you've taken center stage of your life and through your own willpower decided, no, it's not going to happen. So this is what we're learning to do at the moment, to take responsibility, take our own potential back, our own power back, through self-acceptance of everything the way it is, and then changing ourselves from the inside out. Okay, I don't want to align with that anymore. Why am I giving focus to it? Why do they keep taking my attention? And then how do I pull my attention away from that and into what I actually want? Because the power goes with your attention. Your power of your next action and what you want to do goes towards the attention. When your attention goes on, collectively working with others and growing and creating a beautiful world, then that's where it's going to be fueled. You'll start to meet those people. You'll start to get more excited. The excitement starts to snowball into more and more and more and that sort of thing. And like they said, that's why they're saying about the blanket and anticipation moving forward will always help. So throughout the day-to-day experience that you have, please go out and see the beauty around you. Imagine yourself as somebody who's just exploring this world for the first time. It's going to make a big difference, even if it is in little increments, little bits of your day. Yeah. Okay, guys, I think I'll leave it there. Until next time, bye.